2020 has been a very weak year for movies, obviously, until this weekend. Da Five Bloods is the newest Spike Lee joint. This film stars Delroy Lindo, Chadwick Boseman, and Jonathan Majors. This film centers around a group of 4 Vietnam veterans who return back to Vietnam years later to bring home the remains of a fallen comrade and also to retrieve millions of dollars worth of gold that they found during their time in the war. This film is by far the best film of 2020 thus far. It's easily the best film of 2020. There's so many reasons why this movie works so well, and I think number one is because that this movie has so much emotional depth, especially with its characters. Spike Lee is able to show us the true tragedy that is PTSD and how it can affect veterans of any sort of battle. And I think that that's very strong because the character of Paul, played by Delroy Lindo, who by far gives the best performance of the year, and if the year was to end right now, not only should he be nominated for Best Actor for his performance, but he should win Best Actor hands down. He is so good in this movie because he's able to channel this very integral part of what post-traumatic stress disorder is for these combat veterans. And he's able to channel different moments where he's in panic, where he's afraid, and he has a lot of regret from certain things that he did during his time in Vietnam. And that's what I really loved about this film. The chemistry between all the characters works extremely well. And not only that, but this is a movie that truly empowers the African American culture and the people that are right now trying to fight for their rights outside in our real world and trying to have their voices be heard. This is a movie that speaks volumes to them. And I think that that's what Spike Lee is able to do so well. He's able to depict the social injustices that people face, especially the African Americans that live in the United States. He's able to depict the social injustices that they've had to face for a very long time, this prejudice, this discrimination that has not gone away. And even throughout this film is layered with a lot of different context and a lot more meaning than what is kind of on the surface, because this movie, it really villainizes certain things about our congressional system, and it also shows the true evil that is when we place value in things that aren't necessarily as important as the individual freedoms that people should have. And I think that this is a movie that speaks volumes to those different injustices and the way that we should think as everyday citizens and how we should treat other people. And I loved this film because this movie kept me interested the entire time. There was not a dull moment. Now, it is a very long film. It runs about 2.5 hours long, and that's very long, but I never felt like the time ever truly got to me. I felt like I was so much more invested as the film progressed. I never felt it drag too much, and honestly, I loved the inner dialogue that a lot of characters had, especially the character Paul. I know I've already talked about Delroy Lindo, but oh my gosh, his performance in this movie is so good. And I don't care, I haven't seen other performances this year, but this is a guy who is a force to be reckoned with at the end of the year for awards consideration, especially with the year that we've had. And that's not taking anything away from his performance. I still think, even with other movies having come out, if the time was different, I still think that this is the best performance of the year. I think that what he's able to do is so interesting with this character because in a way you almost don't like this character or his motives or kind of the way he's going about things because you look at him as a very selfish character, but you truly root for this guy the entire way because you know that he suffers from these traumatic experiences that he had to face during his time in the Vietnam effort. And I think another thing that's very interesting about this movie is even the scenes that include Chadwick Boseman. But Chadwick Boseman, let me just say, he's not in the movie very much. I mean, he probably has like maybe 15-20 minutes of time in the film, which is not a lot. But Chadwick Boseman's really good in the film because he's kind of a helpmeet towards these other characters. And basically, he's a character that is kind of their Malcolm X or their Martin Luther King in Vietnam. Like, they really look up to this guy. But what I think is very fascinating is every single time they go back in time to show certain events that happened in Vietnam, Chadwick Boseman is the only one who looks young. Like, they never truly show the youthful versions of these other four Bloods. And I think that that's very interesting. And I think that it speaks volumes because I think that there was a deeper meaning to that. I think that the movie kind of deals a lot with the psychosis of these characters, putting themselves from their perspective now into something in the past. And I think that that's a very interesting thing that Spike Lee was able to do, because it was able to show that these guys were vulnerable then like they're vulnerable now. And this is a movie that is fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was very heartwarming and endearing. I thought Jonathan Majors as well was fantastic in this movie. I think everyone brings it. They definitely have a great assortment of cast and characters in this film. And honestly, this is the best film of 2020. This is my favorite film of the year so far. I absolutely loved it, and I think that this might be my favorite Spike Lee movie. I think I like it even more than BlacKkKlansman. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. I don't have anything negative to say about this movie. I love this movie. I highly recommend you guys definitely check this movie out on Netflix this weekend. But anyway, guys, what did you think of Da 5 Bloods? Let me know down below in the comment section of this video. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay healthy.